Hi, my name's Jasmin Polley, and I'm the women's health guru and naturopath at Wellness Vision. Welcome to the first episode of my Wellness Essentials series. The idea of this series is to discuss some really core principles regarding good health and wellness, and starting at some real basic underlying things that we may all take for granted. So I am aiming to publish one episode per week over the next couple of months to really make sure that I cover all of these aspects. And I appreciate and encourage any feedback or questions, comments that you have to give me an idea of where I need to focus more on giving you more information. Okay, so today's topic is on mindful eating. Now, this may seem like a pretty basic topic, but to tell you the truth, majority of my clients that come and see me struggle with this. And to tell you the truth, I struggle with this. It can be difficult to really slow down and to do one thing at a time, especially when it comes to eating. We've all been eating our whole life, so it's really easy for us to take that for granted and to try to multitask, especially when we are busy with life, with work, whatever it is. So what I'm encouraging you to do is over the next week is to really focus on how you eat, the environment that you're eating in, and your habits around eating. So when I'm talking about mindful eating, it's really mindfulness means really being present in the now. And so when it comes to eating, it's really not doing anything else at the same time, but being present in the meal, feeling how your body feels, how your body's digestive processes are working, paying attention to the food, really looking at that food. Like how often it'd be interesting to hear some feedback on this, but how often do you really stop and slow down and really taste your food? Examine the texture of it, smell it before you even put it in your mouth. Feel that first bite as your teeth pierce that if it's the skin of a fruit or a vegetable or whatever you're eating at that time. And really how the food how much you need to chew that food to break it down, how the sound of it. I could go on all day with that. I think you get the picture. It's really just being aware and using your senses to discover your foods again. Now, there's some really important aspects that come out of this. Obviously, it can make eating more enjoyable, but the other part of it, it can make us more aware of how we're eating. If you're just shoveling food into your mouth while you're doing something else, people tend to overeat. It can take up to 10 minutes for your brain to register that your stomach is full enough, and that's by that time, most of us have actually finished our meal. Now, if you're somebody that's churning through that meal quite quickly, for one thing, it's not going to be great on your digestive system, which I'll go into in a second. But the other thing is you're not going to actually have that registration that you don't need anymore, and before you know it, I've had too much. From the other point of view, when it comes to chewing your food, chewing is really important for digestion. It's also really important to actually help with that, those messages from the brain to the stomach to let food know that it's coming. So what I would encourage you to actually do is in the next week when you're chewing your food, try to actually count how often you need to chew each sort of mouthful. If it's less than 10, then odds are you're not chewing up that food effectively and you're getting big chunks passing through, depending on what you're eating, obviously. If it's something that's soft, you need to chew it less. If it's something like nuts and seeds, then really that should be like a paste before you swallow that to really allow the digestive system to act on it. Chewing actually breaks up food into smaller molecules, smaller particles, so that our enzymes and our hydrochloric acid in our stomach can actually work to break down those food elements. Now, by breaking them down, it means that we can absorb the nutrients out of them, the vitamins and the minerals that we need. We can also denature the protein. So that means make the proteins or break up the proteins into their smaller amino acid building blocks. So that means we can absorb the protein easier. It also means that the protein is less likely to cause an immune reaction if we're somebody that is reactive to that food. If you're not breaking down your proteins properly, it's more likely that you can suffer from intolerances and allergies. And the third thing with that is that if you're not breaking up your food properly, it provides more food for the bacteria that live in your gut. Now, bacteria cells in our gut outnumber human cells by 10 to 1. So we have something that's actually, they now refer to it as the microbiome, or it's like another organ in our body. That's how many effects it has on our health. Now, we want to make sure that the right type of bacteria are living in that microbiome. And to do that, it really starts with obviously the types of food, but also how well you're digesting and breaking up that food. Now, one other major thing that I want to discuss with that is stress. If we are stressed when we're eating, it actually shuts down our parasympathetic nervous system, which is the branch of our nervous system required for good digestion. It's our relaxation digestive system. So if we're stressed, we're more likely to be in that fight flight, and we actually, if your life is under threat, you don't really need to be digesting your food. Our body still works the same way. So if we're in that sympathetic nervous system or that fight-flight nervous system, then our food will sit there and recur on us. And you might notice that, hours after you could burp and you could still taste that same food. Whereas if you're actually relaxing, being mindful with your eating, hopefully you're switching on that parasympathetic nervous system and digesting your food a lot better. So that pretty much wraps up the main aspects that I wanted to cover with mindful eating today. If you have any questions or comments on anything that I've said, please leave me feedback on my Facebook page or on my blog. And I hope to see you here again next week for the next episode. Thanks very much. Bye.